What is up, amigos? Hope you're doing awesome. By now, everyone's heard of Adolescence, a series that has stunned audiences and critics alike with its technical brilliance. Each episode, nearly 50 minutes to an hour long, is filmed in a single uninterrupted shot. No cuts, no edits, just raw, real-time storytelling that pulls you into the lives of these characters in a way very few series have. With only 4 episodes, it manages to do what many long-running shows fail to, leave an impact that lingers long after the credits roll. And while I was amazed at all the technical aspects, the cinematography and the sheer brilliance of its making, I don't want to start this review by talking about that, because Adolescence is much more than just an achievement in filmmaking. It's been a long time since a series has affected me so deeply, not just as a viewer but on an emotional and personal level. This is a story about a tragedy that didn't happen in a war zone, a crime-ridden street, or a gangster's den. It happened inside an ordinary home, within a seemingly normal family, and that's what makes it terrifying. It's not a whodunit suspense drama, so don't worry about any spoilers here, there's none. It's more of a why-done-it psychological drama. At the center of Adolescence is Jamie Miller, a 13-year-old boy arrested for the murder of his classmate, Katie Leonard. What follows is not just a police investigation but an emotional and psychological excavation of how something like this could happen. Through Jamie's interactions with his parents, the police detective handling the case, and a clinical psychologist trying to unravel the why behind it all, the series paints a chilling picture of the modern world that our children are growing up in. This isn't a simple case of a bad child or bad parenting. It's a much deeper look at how young minds today are being influenced by forces we often underestimate: the internet, social media, online forums, and the invisible pressures of growing up in a digital age. It's a slow, unsettling unraveling of a case where there are no easy answers, no single person to blame, and no clear villains. Only victims of a system that is failing its youth in ways we refuse to acknowledge. And while the show is set in the UK, its themes are universally relevant. The influence of social media, the toxicity of certain online spaces, and the rise of dangerous ideologies targeting young boys, girls. It's something we are seeing in India as well, from the rise of violent WhatsApp forwards to the increasing dominance of alpha male influencers promoting harmful ideas about masculinity. The reality is that our children are being shaped by the internet more than ever before. The question is, are we paying attention? One of the most unsettling things about Adolescence is how real it feels. This is not a dramatized crime thriller with neatly tied up resolutions. It's raw, unfiltered, and painfully authentic. The decision to film each episode in a single continuous shot adds to that feeling. You don't get a break from the emotions, that discomfort, the sheer weight of that tragedy unfolding right before you. It's like being trapped in the moment with these characters, watching their world fall apart in real time, powerless to do anything about it. The performances are nothing short of phenomenal either. Owen Cooper, who plays Jamie, delivers one of the most hauntingly realistic performances in recent memory. His portrayal of a boy who doesn't fully understand the gravity of what he's done, who swings between confusion, fear, and detachment, is deeply unsettling. Erin Doherty as the clinical psychologist is exceptional, her character acting as both an investigator and an emotional anchor in a story where everyone is looking for answers but no one truly finds them. But perhaps the most devastating performances come from Jamie's parents, particularly in the final episode. Watching them break down, realizing that despite doing everything in their capacity and power to raise their child right, they still ended up here, will make your eyes well up. And that's when the real gut punch of the show hits you. You realize that in this digital age, not everything is controllable. One child in a family may grow up just fine while the other stumbles into trouble. And so the question arises, can we really place the entire blame on the parents? The series doesn't provide a clear answer, and that's what makes it so haunting. Parenting today is not just about providing for your child, it's about fighting an invisible battle against influences you may not even be aware of until it's too late. At its core, Adolescence is not just about a crime, it is a mirror held up to the society, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths. Today, a child's first exposure to the world is often not through their parents or teachers, but through a screen. Social media, YouTube, chat forums, these have become their new mentors, shaping their worldviews in ways we don't fully understand. And when young minds, still struggling with their identity and emotions, come across the wrong kind of content, the consequences can be devastating. The rise of this toxic masculinity influencers who tell young boys that aggression, dominance are the only way to be a man is not just a Western issue, it's happening in India too. Many young men are now looking up to figures who glorify control, disrespect, and violence as signs of strength. And the worst part, many parents have no idea what kind of content their children are consuming online. The lack of conversation, the growing emotional gap between parents and kids, and the unchecked influence of harmful ideologies are creating a perfect storm. Then there's the issue of violence becoming entertainment. We live in a time where school fights are recorded and shared for fun, where extreme behavior gets more engagement online, where young people are exposed to disturbing content without any guidance on how to process it. Just like in Adolescence, where Jamie's mind is slowly shaped by things beyond his parents' control, we see real-life cases of young people getting drawn into dangerous paths, often without realizing until it's too late. This is not just a Netflix show, it's a wake-up call. Adolescence is a reminder that the world has changed and parenting must change with it. Conversations must change, schools must change, society must change. This show is not just about a crime, it's about how a child in the absence of proper guidance can be led down a dangerous path. It makes you wonder, are we listening to our kids enough? Do we know what's happening in their lives? Or are we too busy to notice? And what kind of conversations are we having at home? Is it about violence, hate, which is influencing the kids too? The hardest truth Adolescence reveals is that sometimes, even when parents do everything right, things can still go wrong. It doesn't mean they failed, it means the world has become more complicated than ever before. It means that raising a child in today's age is no longer just about teaching good values, but actively fighting against forces that corrupt those values. For anyone who watches crime thrillers, this show is gripping and brilliantly made. But for those who care about the future, Adolescence is something much more. It's an urgent discussion we all need to have. It's one of the most powerful and haunting series of recent times, and it demands to be seen. If you have watched Adolescence already, I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think the internet is making young minds more vulnerable today? Do let me know. Drop your opinions in the comments below. Thanks for watching today. Bye-bye.